Hello! Well, for my project, I did the Manhattan Project. Now, the Manhattan Project was one of the main factors in World War II. It was the nickname for a secret project that was established before World War II. And yes, I know that was a little repetitive, but just deal with it. It developed a new form of weapon called the atomic bomb and made winning the war possible for America. The Manhattan Project will always be remembered most for the destruction of Hiroshima and the victory over Japan in World War II. Now, before I get too deep into this, let me explain to you how the name for this project came about. It is called the Manhattan Project because most of its early operations were conducted in Manhattan. Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's move on. The Manhattan Project started in 1939, when Albert Einstein wrote a letter to President Theodore Roosevelt, expressing his concerns that Nazi Germany may be trying to make nuclear weapons. Roosevelt ordered a small research group to work on nuclear weapons for America. It started out as a small research project that took place in a lab called Argonne National Labs, but as time went by, it grew and spread into 30 different secret laboratories throughout North America. Eventually, about 130,000 people were hired to work on this, and it cost $2 billion. That's $22 billion today. 4 of these laboratories were the main labs that worked on the project the most. The labs were Los Alamos, New Mexico, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Richmond, Washington, and Chalk River, Ontario, which is in Canada. The scientific research was directed by J. Robert Oppenheimer. He knew fast neuron calculations were key to making these bombs. They are also key to calculations about weapon detonation and critical mass. These calculations are what made the bombs detonate just at the right moment and blow up the cities. There were a lot of factors that scientists had to keep considering in order to advance with this project, though, like that the bombs might ignite the atmosphere. The atomic bombs were made out of a type of raw uranium called U-235. Plutonium was also used to make these bombs. These materials and more were put into the bombs very carefully by a machine known as a silicotron. Cyclotrons combine certain materials and make them easy to put into things like bombs. The bombs themselves cost $1.845 billion to make and test. It has also become true that Britain cooperated with the U.S. in the construction of these bombs. Both countries mostly worked with each other by sharing and discussing atomic energy. Britain expected to keep up with this sharing of knowledge, but in 1946, the American Mahone Act forbade the sharing of atomic information, thus ending that little country-to-country trade agreement. On July 16, 1945, the first atomic bomb was tested in White Sands, New Mexico. A month after this test, 2 bombs were dropped at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There was a main reason for why this happened, because it was believed that it would immediately end the war. The immediate death total from these bombs was about 100,000 people and made the decision of dropping the bombs in Japan very controversial. But we still won the war, so it's all good. The end.